Hello, family. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening across the globe. I'm talking to my foundational Black American brothers and sisters and the African diasporans and the entire Black race. As for me, I didn't really sleep well last night because of something that I saw that was very disturbing. It's extremely very disturbing because it is a typical example of a migrant exposing his ignorance and undermining the foundational Black Americans. That's the more reason why you see, the likes of, our other B1 brigadiers cautioning us and making sure that we, the migrant Africans, stop playing into this game, this racism white supremacy game. I will have to bring to the family a typical example this morning, and I'll go deep into it because it really pains my soul, it pains my spirit to see this amount of disrespect and disregard and undermining of our foundational Black Americans. I speak from the perspective of a Black man living in the United States of America. I speak from a perspective of a migrant living in the United States of America. I speak from a perspective of a conscious Black man who fights for the preservation of the Black race. So that is what I look, that's how I look at it. I'll have to expose something, but before I go on, I said in my last video that I'll keep on doing something, as a tradition, and I'll try it as much as possible to keep it up. I want to use this to support my brother, Dr. Umar Johnson, for the good work that he is doing. I want to use this as an opportunity to, show my appreciation for what he is doing and what he is up to. I will now take this opportunity also to contribute my little token to assist him in his project of trying to put up the Marcus Garvey Academy. So that is what I will do now. I will do my own little contribution to my brother, Dr. Umar Johnson, in his Frederick Douglass Academy. I said I'll keep on doing that most of the times when I come live and I have something to contribute. I'll do it live at the beginning of my video. Then just to show that at times you need to stop talking and we need to start walking the talk. I'm doing my little contribution to the Frederick Douglass school that Dr. Umar Johnson is trying to put up. Okay. Through his Cash App, $FDMG school. Thank you, brother, for doing what you are doing. Keep on doing it. I know that I will say this, my account is under shadow ban, and YouTube is knocking off most of my subscribers. I think I've seen about 300 subscribers being pulled off my channel. I know that and most of the time when I come live, I'm using eCam. Most of the time when I come live, immediately after the first 2-3 minutes, I get an alert that my live streaming is slowing down or something of that nature. So I know that my account is under shadow ban, and if they are unsubscribing my subs, then I know that I'm doing something good. To me, it's a good sign. I will keep on doing what I'm doing. If YouTube is part of the racism white supremacy system, so if they are attacking my own channel, then I know that I'm saying something that makes sense to my African brothers and sisters. When I talk of African brothers and sisters, the Black man and the Black woman. So I'm happy about that. I'm not too worried about what YouTube is doing. So they can keep on removing the subs, but I'll keep on spreading the word So those who come across my videos, please share it in other platforms. The most important thing is for the message to go out. I'm not too very much concerned about the financial part of it or building, the it for to use it for financial gains. I'm more interested in passing out my message. I'm a B1 admiral. What is most important is educating our people. I did put up this channel purposely to educate. I never had it in mind, never, that I would ever be having a YouTube channel, but I did it as my own part in respect and appreciation for what my other brothers, my other senior brothers, I call them senior, the Professor Black Truth, Tariq Nasheed, the Black Authority, Jason Black, what they are doing and the advice that they are giving us. We go by the code. We don't have to have a leader. We have to act like how the force multipliers in spreading out the message of the B1 Brigade. So it's not really like a platform for finances. No, it's a platform, first of all, to educate specifically the migrant brothers and sisters, and also, use it as a means to create connection between us and our foundational Black Americans across the Atlantic. Because it's key for the survival and the survival of our race as a Black people. That's why I created this channel. Some people use YouTube channel for their financial gains, but to me, it's just for messaging, and seeing how we can work together as one people, one race, and also making sure that I put in my own part. Tomorrow will be history. You never know what the message might transform or transition to, as far as we are concerned, and the next generations to come, what they are going to learn from us, what they are going to make sense of what we have been trying to say or do. I was just also watching Dr. Arikana, and she was like asking the key question for this generation. After the Martin Luther King generation, what have we done in our own generation to advance the Black race, to advance our situation, or to project our situation? The key is economy, and that's what we talk about. Africa has the resources, the West has the diasporans have the brains, they have the know-how. We have to combine that together to advance our race. It's not an issue of countries, it's not an issue of individuals. It's an issue of us as a collective. It has been structurally made globally wherever we find ourselves. Even if you're as rich as what, you don't have that respect as other races of people will have. You might find yourself somewhere in the Western world and you are a billionaire, and there's someone there who's a millionaire. He comes and speaks, a known Black person, they might listen to him than you, just because of the stigma that is tied to our own race as a group of people. So we need to project ourselves as a race and as a group of people. The Asians are doing it. The Jews did that. There are not many, but because they strategically understood that they were supposed to work as one people to be able to defend themselves. You don't see any distinction between a Jew in America and a Jew in Israel. They are one people, or the Jew in Europe, or the Jew in Poland. They believe in one thing. They must fight as hard as possible to preserve their race. So it's only us who have been slacking behind. That's why we are abused globally. Wherever we find ourselves, they push us to the bottom of the society and they shit on us. They use us for other types of things, experiments, insults, degradation, and everything. So we need to start thinking differently. That's why I find myself in foundation in the United States of America. I don't speak like a migrant. I speak like a Black man, and I speak like a Black man in America amongst our own brothers. And it's my own role, our own responsibility to function in that light. We function as a collective, as one group of people. We can't keep this mindset of, oh, I am. Do you think that the Jews in America are different from the Jews in Israel? They don't see themselves that way, or the Jews in America, despite the America and Russia function as adversaries. But the Jews in America, they liaise with the Jews in Russia. They are one people. They have one cause, to protect their race. Everybody is doing that game. Only us Africans who are sitting there. Some will stand openly and demean other Africans in order thinking they are different. That's the mindset that most of us have. Collectively in America, you see Europeans who have settled here for years, for ages, from Holland, from the Netherlands, from Poland, from Russia. But when they come here, they identify as whites, and they function like a pack of people. That's their race. race preservation. That is how they function. Why do you think that within the society you don't have Russian groups? They don't look at them from a collector as Russians or Dutch or they don't even that means nothing to them, or the British, or no, all of them are white. They are all classified in America as white, and when they are giving them goodies and benefits, they give the white people the benefits. They don't care about their background, whatever. Unless we migrants start thinking in that light, particularly in America, because the dynamics in America is totally different. Unless we start thinking in that light, keep this tribal mindset that we took from Africa and it's destroying us globally, it will not change. Even look at a place like Haiti. Haiti functions like a black nation. You don't say that, oh, they were slaves, but they came from different parts, but they see themselves as one group of people. And that is a pity for us to see our own brothers being punished and penalized by still a group of people. The Europeans, they sanctioned the British, the US, the French, put Haiti in that position, you know, and we can't see them just because they are black. We should understand that it was specifically on Haiti because they were blacks and because of the impact of freeing themselves. You know, why did they impose and beat down on Haiti and not on Dominican Republic? Because the Dominican Republic, they were more involved with their race mixing and running away from everything black. Why the Haitians were embracing their African root and their blackness. That's why they have been punished till today that we are talking. And it's my own personal thinking that we need to make sure that Haiti has an economic base, economic outlet like Africa. Africa should be there. If we should trade, we should start looking at trading with Haiti to improve on the economy. We have things that they can do, the things that they can partnership. If we start partnership with Haiti and helping Haiti out of this misery, we can do it. As I said, we can understand that they are being punished. That's the first black republic globally. They are being punished because they are blacks. They are being given all that economic sanctions because they are blacks. I was watching a documentary recently on Haiti, and the error that we make as a race of people is this constant waiting for people to do things for us. We have to stop this mentality of waiting and look at what we can do that works for us. Africa is a solution to Haitian problem, to the Haitian problem. If we partnership with Haiti economically, work with them to see how we can intertrade with them, we can pull Haiti out of that situation, out of that misery, and then allowing Haiti to waiting for the handouts from the Western world, or waiting for crumbs from the Western world, or being treated at the mercy of the Westerners. No, we are the motherland Africa can take care of their children, their extension, their satellites globally. If we work together, if we coordinate ourselves together, we can do that. And we need to start looking at things from that perspective. I don't understand also why the other island nation, like Jamaica cannot build a good trading partnership with relationship with a country like Haiti to help take them out of their misery. We have to look at it from that perspective of us, in the light and spirit of brotherhood. If something is happening to the Jews in Russia, the Jews in America, they are concerned and they are involved. If something is happening to the Jews in Europe, the other ones, they are involved. That's why if something happened to the Jews in Israel, all other Jewish societies globally are involved in that business to solve their problem. And that is how we need to figure out how to resolve our problem and stop this issue of self-hate on us. I know it's going to take a while, but the reawakening must continue. Okay, family, something that's disturbed my spirit yesterday till today, I would like to share it with the family, and I'll have to go deep on this. And we need to address and call out this bullshit. It has taken a toll that I am speaking as a migrant, and I have to attack this. I don't speak from a perspective, I'm speaking as a migrant and as a brother. I share the spirit of brotherhood in this country. When Marcus Garvey came from Jamaica, he shared the spirit of brotherhood in America. He knew himself as a black man. He didn't say, I'm a Jamaican. He said, I am a black man. And you cannot come into a country that has the people that are giving you the benefit to be here to even flourish. You sit on their shoulders, on the shoulders of their ancestors, and you insult them. It is something that I will speak as a migrant. I'm not speaking as a foundational black American. I'm speaking as a migrant living in America. Let me play this stuff. and you listen, and I'll have to talk a lot about this. And there are certain things that we need to figure out. I watched this in Dr. Phil show, but I have to make my own make a comment on this. Just give me some time to pull up the video. I have to talk about this. It's really painful.
If you're an accredited investor, I have big news. In the last 12 months, I bought 5 major.
Just give me a minute, please.
Can you explain, your reasoning behind that?
Look at this dude. Look at the dude.
To hear someone say that. Now, so we're all Americans. We come from very different backgrounds. We have Norwegians, we have Finnish, we have Swedish, Polish, German. We have people from African backgrounds in this country. We're all immigrants who came to this country. And so therefore, even including the indigenous American people, the indigenous native people, the people from very different backgrounds, the thing that should unite us is the idea of the American identity. Not because of the small group that we come from, because it's polarizing. If we're going to have a Black History Month, then what about a Finnish History Month? What happens to a Jewish History Month? What happens to a Swedish History Month? The list goes on and on and on. But these are all American history. So therefore, I feel that as governor, the way to move forward to stop this division and this polarization that's going on in our community is to forge a single American identity that we can all identify with first. No one is saying you should get rid of your background, and no one is saying that in the middle of that, there's not going to be any Black history being taught or people of that background history being taught. But also, how about Finnish history? How about Norwegian history? How about German history? How about the rest of the people that make up this great and beautiful state of Michigan also having their history being taught in an American History Month, which can encompass all of this? That's my point of view, and I stand by that statement.
Now, his original statement that got people.
Family, this really distorted me. It broke my spirit. It weakened me. Honestly, I'm so ashamed. I'm so ashamed. I can say that, I'm ashamed as a Black man. For us to have this filth. Let me say something. I now come to understand why we have this vitriol against Africans. I now come to understand why we go to Twitter. You see a lot of our brothers being pissed off with migrant Africans. These are the ones that cause that pain on our brothers in this country and the pain on us migrants in this country. Why touch Black History Month? Why? Let me see something. Even us, I'll be very honest to you people. I come from a country that's neighboring Nigeria. Even us Africans, we are scared of some Nigerians. These are the type of people that can cut their parents' throat for a penny. They can sell their mama for a penny. There are some that just look at money. Look at this coward. I call him an idiot. What I'll say is this. I'll have to research on this guy's name and figure out where he comes from. I mean, what he is doing in Michigan. If he's a businessman, let the Foundation of Black Americans boycott his business. Let them not allow this guy to speak in any space in the Foundation of Black American community in Michigan. This is disgraceful. This is shameful. People come and sit on the shoulders of our own brothers, their ancestors that have fought so hard. Why touch it? Black History Month is not only celebrated in the United America. Let's understand something, family. It is celebrated in Canada. It is now celebrated in Ireland. is now celebrated in the Netherlands, and it is spreading out globally. It's because of Black History Month that other blacks in other parts of areas that were being subjugated, like the Brazil, like Mexico, they have a voice. It's because of Black History Month that they can speak out of because of their own oppression. It's because of Black History Month that you see other Africans in the world, in the southern part of America. It's because of Black History Month that we even know about what happened to the blacks in Argentina. It's because of Black History Month that we know what is happening to our own people globally. You see a coward. These are the type of Nigerian, this Nigerian type. They're the ones that can sell their mama for a penny. All they see is money. This is pure ignorance. You have to Google, just simple Google or go to Wikipedia. You understand why Black History Month exists. People have worked their butt out. I would say that this is a type of Nigerians, this is a type of people participating in the selling of our people from the continent to America. You exhibit this type of disdain, this type of how to call it, disrespect and disregard for our people. You are living off on their shoulder. You live in Michigan, maybe in a nice neighborhood. Do you know how our people fought for you to get into that neighborhood? Do you know how many blacks died for us migrants to even live in some neighborhoods in America? Do you know how many of you run whatever you are doing there because you come and you are talking as if even you are a migrant. You have no voice. This guy has no voice. He shouldn't even touch anything related to Black History Month. You don't even, that is out of your zone. You don't talk about it. You don't have that. You don't even have the respect. You don't have this guy doesn't have the space or even the audience to talk about Black History Month. What our brothers fought for, worked extremely hard. And that has been the only tool that they have used as a platform to define themselves, to stand up for their own existence, their own survival. The funniest thing is that, family, Black History Month is even African history. Because it's through Black History Month that we even learn about our own history as Africans. Because it's true that Black History Month that people use the tools to research more about our own people, our own existence, our civilization, where we came from, how our people lived. It's through Black History Month that Africans can even learn about the continent themselves because they blur everything about. They create a blank slate in Africa. That I learned about Africa here in South America, and it's true on the foundation of Black History Month. Someone he comes and speaks as if his nose is stuffed off. He's talking on what gives him who gives him the audacity to talk about Black history in America? A migrant. You step into a nation, you don't even know anything. Shows your ignorance. You sit wherever you sit or you are talking. Our brothers in this country died for you to even come into this country. They fought. They don't even know that before the civil rights era, Black Africans were not allowed to come to America. They were not migrating to America. If he doesn't even know. It's our own brothers in this country that fought for us to come into this country. You come and you sit and you're shitting on them, undermining them. They plot to even write them out of their own history, their existence. You come and you're participating in them. These are the ones that I think I heard there's a terminology for this one. They call them teters. The vampires, they how to call it, the leeches. You come and sit on people's shoulders and you are undermining them because you say you want to run for governor. Family, I want to make very clear. Our people in Michigan, the B1 brigadiers, should make sure that they address this. They shouldn't give this guy any space to speak in any church. They shouldn't give this guy any space to speak in any black community. They shouldn't give him any space to speak anywhere. No matter what he has to say. This is an insult on the foundation of black people in this country. It's an insult on the foundation. They have built it. They have worked so hard. They have come to where they are. They have allowed us, some of us, to be able to come into America. And then you have the guts to come and you shit on them. You have the guts to come and you try to undermine their efforts. On what basis? If you are so politically savvy and you want to be a politician, go to Nigeria and become a politician in Nigeria. The business that you run, the same black history and the black people fought for you to even run what type of business you are running in Michigan. If you want to run politics, why do you leave Nigeria and come to the United States to come and run as a governor? Why don't you run in Nigeria? The first thing you come and you are putting your first agenda out is to attack the very core foundation of our brothers in this country. It was just simple. I'll take a little bit of time on this live video. It was just simple for him to pick up Wikipedia or Google to figure out why we celebrate Black History Month. It was simple. I already speak because this really it hurts me. I feel so. It's not an issue of for my brothers in this country. It hurts me as a black man. We cannot allow this type of vermin. We have to be on code. This type of people we must extract this guy in Michigan and ensure that we don't allow him to even feature in any black event in Michigan. We have to make sure that we do that. Does he think that the history books in America, the educational system in America, he is more smarter than them to institute and maintain the Black History Month? Does he even know when it started? They shouldn't give him any space to speak in any black environment, any black community in Michigan. They should also make sure that it doesn't end there. They should ensure that this guy, find him help, boycott his business, look for means to punish him. We must have punitive measures on people who will shit on the black community in America. We must develop those codes. This is totally, purely anti-code. We must look for a means and a way that he has to pay for it. Coming out with this type of agenda, a migrant. If you don't have any voice to speak on black history in America. You don't have any voice. What their ancestors fought for and worked for them to maintain themselves afloat. You come and you say to dismantle it. Who are you? If you are so, I'm talking to this Nigerian guy. I don't want his name. Let me even call this. Figure out what this buffoon, what his name is. They call it Austin Chenge. Austin Chenge. We have to figure out who this guy is and what his business is in Michigan. If there's any form of business that has to do interact with black people, we boycott it. Give him no space. Make a mockery of him till he leaves Michigan. And we factor this guy. We make sure that we have to come hard on this type of people. It's just a black skin in a clan. It's just left for him to put on a clan's robe. Let him just put on a clan's robe and move around. Typical coonish and samboish behavior. We can't allow anybody just walk into the space of Foundation of America and talk crap to them. This is unheard of. This is unbelievable. Pick up Google. Pick up Wikipedia and understand why the Black History Month exists and the benefit that it has helped to even advance the black cause globally. Let me read. I'll take a little bit of time, please. This might take a little bit of time, but people should follow through. It's Black History Month. I picked it from Wikipedia. You could have read it. Don't go to say things they don't even have a clue. Figure it out. It shows your degree and level of ignorance. Talking about things you don't know. Things you're not even supposed to touch. It doesn't even concern you. It doesn't even talking about Black History Month of America, it doesn't concern you. You're calling about what other people. The Jews, they observe the day of their mourning, their Holocaust. They have their days. We use it as a day because they were trying to write off Africans in general, that they contributed nothing in history. They use the Black History Month as a leeway, a gateway, to be able to make sure that we have a part we've done, to expose the pains, to expose the barbarism, what our people faced. I never knew that. And even of Black History Month, I would never have known about anything about transatlantic slave. I studied in Africa. the curriculum being dished out there is from the colonial masters. They don't teach us about our people here. And we don't know anything better. We are controlled by the colonialists because they want to blur our minds. We don't even know anything about the history. Till I left Africa, went to Europe, and then came to the United States of America, that is when I started studying the history of the black man. It's because, and if it's not a Black History Month that gave us the tools and gave us the resources to be able to know ours, to know myself, I won't sit there and be talking because I won't know anything better. I won't sit there and be talking. And then you see a coward, a buffoon. They call him Christian. He's trying to say his campaign. He wants to stand as the governor of Michigan. In the heart of our people. And you try to undermine the sole thing that has kept them afloat by saying you're going to scrap it. Who are you? Go to your country and practice politics. Don't touch things that you don't know anything about. You don't know better. You don't stop exposing your ignorance. The second thing he talks about is that all of us are migrants. It shows the stupidity of this guy. Foundational Black Americans are not migrants. Don't make that mistake. The same mistake that I heard one speech that Obama ever said, that this country is made of migrants. We should make sure that we continue to correct that error. The foundational Black Americans are not migrants in this country. They were brought here like slaves. They were pulled into this nation like slaves to build this nation. They suffered all the indignity, the indignity of this nation. They suffered all the pains, everything that they went through in this nation, and they built this nation for nothing. They are not migrants. They are not migrants. We should make it very clear and distinct. They are not migrants. Foundational Black Americans are not migrants in this country. They were pulled as slaves out of Africa, sold to build America. Don't call them migrants. You insult their intelligence. You insult the people. Foundational Black Americans are not migrants. They left Africa as slaves. They didn't migrate to America. You will see someone come and open his gums, clapping his lips and talking about them and calling that all of us are migrants. Who told him that? That's the reason, that's the more reason why Black History Month is extremely important. People are trying to write off the foundational Black Americans out of history. They are trying to write them out of society, trying to push them out of society. Then they use these coons from Africa, these buffoons from Africa, to try to undermine them. That's the more reason why Black History Month is very important. Because the story would have been that everyone was migrant. They were trying to taint history books in the southern states, like in Texas. They were trying to talk how Africans migrated or the slaves in this country. They didn't migrate. They came to this country like slaves. We should make a clear distinction. They are a distinct and a unique set of people. Don't think that that's the same mindset that they will put in, and they will say that, oh, this people they are lazy. They built this nation. You sit on their backs and the back of their ancestors and you insult them. You have the God to stand and you want them to give you a vote for governorship. We make sure that in Michigan, wherever this guy speaks, not only in the Black community, there should be a B1 brigadier there to put this guy to shame. He's a coward. He has no space in the Black community. He has no space in the Black race. These are the type of vermin that we find in the Black community. We have to call these things out. I speak as a migrant in America, and it hurts me to see people trying to undermine our own brothers in this country. You think I come to America and shit on them? Wherever you live in, you might be living in nice neighborhoods in America. Let me tell you, the foundation of Black Americans, they fought extremely hard for housing equality. They died for it. You might live in a neighborhood that is maybe predominantly white. Let me tell you, you didn't have that. Years back, you don't have, even till now that I'm speaking, there are neighborhoods that are covertly still keeping it white with their private covenants. They are predominantly still keeping it. I have a friend wanted to buy a house in a predominantly white neighborhood. This guy had to put in his bid for that house. They pulled the market, and nobody had, and the house has been in the market for over 4 months. He put in his bid in that house. And he was very persistent. They pulled the house off the market. They pulled that house off the market because he was a black man. He was black trying to buy it. They brought it back into the market 4 months later. He took another realtor, a white realtor, told him that he needs that house. They went behind that house. Can you imagine that till at a dime minute, He's a friend from a migrant. At the dying minute, they jack up the price to about $20,000 just to scare him out of that house. Not to get him, let him get that house. He still paid for that house. And he lives in that house surrounded. It's a purely white neighborhood. You see a coward. You know nothing about the nation. You know nothing about America. You talk about blacks. All of us are migrants in this country. Foundational black Americans are not migrants. They were pulled as slaves in this country, into this country to build this country. We should make that clear distinction. They didn't come at their own free will. They're a unique set of people and they're different. Don't think that you come in here, you sit and you build their business or whatever you have as Africans on their backs. You sit on their backs and you build their business and you still can insult them. You shit on them. You talk about trying to cancel Black History Month. Come on, please, give me a break. Who is he? I also say this. The treatment that the black family gave, this guy was trying to contest for presidency down south, where he went to a church and everybody turned their back on him when he was talking. I've forgotten this millionaire in New York. We should not even allow this dude to speak in any black space in Michigan. We should not allow him to speak in any black space. He's a con man. He doesn't care. These are the type of people who can sell you out for a penny. If he's so interested in politics, and that's how he starts his politics in America, go to Nigeria and do your politics there. Don't come and insult their intelligence, insult what they have worked so hard for. They have fought so hard off, and then you fought so hard for. You come and you're telling you want to get into Black History Month. Who are you? Who are you? I say that. Yeah, thank you, my brother James Walker. They have the LGBT day or month or period they celebrate. They will not talk about that. They have the Jewish Holocaust Remembrance. He will not talk about that. He will specifically come and talk about Black History Month. Come on, man. A migrant from Africa, you have nothing to say about it. You have nothing to say about Black History. Why doesn't this is a guy this is the type of dude that will probably go and say that, we have that black museum. According to him, it's not supposed to even exist. If he can say Black History Month should not exist, that museum should not even exist. That is according to his thought, according to this type of man's mindset. We should call out this buffoonery. We should call out these Africans and make sure that we address it. I'm a migrant and I'm addressing it as a migrant. These are the people who come and they hurt. They inflict more pain on our people in this country. We should call them out. Stay on court. If he's running a business in Michigan, I boycott his business. If he's campaigning and coming to a neighborhood, chase him out of a neighborhood. Wherever he stands and wants to speak on the issue of trying to be a governor or campaigning, chase him out of that area. Find yourself there and challenge him. We can't allow this type of people to continue to drown the foundation of Black Americans in broad daylight and he has nothing to offer. Do they go to Nigeria? Do our brothers go to Nigeria and try to undermine them there? Do our brothers leave here and go to the country and try to undermine us there? Who are you to come and try to undermine them in their own land, in their own country, when they're trying to even survive? These are the type of people who have a disdain for our people. We have to call them out. We have to be on code. Pull them and let them know where they stand. It's been for far too long. And I now come to understand and realize the very importance of our brothers in this country identifying themselves as foundational Black Americans. That is a marker and you need to maintain it. You need to strengthen it. If that's what it takes for them to keep on fighting and stand as a group of people not to be exterminated, maintain your part. Call yourself foundational Black Americans and let's support it. You go to Africa in other parts of the country, they are calling themselves Nigerians, they are calling themselves Ghanaians and the rest. That's their unique identity. So you call yourself foundational Black Americans. Hold that fire. Those who find it divisive, that's your business. You leave their country. These are the dude that if this guy is attacked by a racist or something happens to him, the next thing is that You will still see the brothers in this country marching, fighting for justice for black man. And we can see that. You come and because you want to live in your own bubble, you come and try to undermine foundation of Americans. What they have fought for so long, the one that they fought for so long to even have the black history is being recognized here. It's giving other blacks globally the voice to speak. Let me tell you, buffoon, the so-called Chenge, whatever, Austin Chenge, who is trying to campaign. I want to campaign for it. It is because of Black History Month that blacks who have been suppressed and subjugated in other parts of the world are talking. It's because of them. It's through Black History Month that we see the connection between the foundation of Black Americans, our brothers in this continent, and the connection to Haiti. It's through Black History Month that we knew that Haitians even left and came and helped in fighting for the independence of America. They fought so hard. The reason why supremacists have fought so hard to create the myth that even they try to put in books that all blacks that you see in this country are migrants. No. We have to make sure that we keep it clear and steady. I'm a migrant. But my brothers in this country were pulled as slaves. They came to this country like slaves. They held them like slaves. They built this country for nothing. And that's why I stand with them, and we keep on for them to fight for their reparations. They have to fight for their reparation. Yeah, this is a type of people. That's why you see Biden loading his administration with Nigerians. Because I believe these ones, they have the same mindset like this guy. This even discouraged me. Where I live, there's one guy who was trying to go in as a Nigerian, was trying to vie for the position of a mayor. He was trying to put in, I just left the group yesterday. I just decided to leave the WhatsApp group. Because if this is a type of mindset that there are people going into politics in America is having, I don't need to be in the midst. Or he was in WhatsApp group trying to campaign for mayor in the town that I live in Nigeria. Just when I saw this, I just left the group. If this type of mindset that you guys are going to have to come here and undermine the people who build this country, there's some cutthroat Nigerians. I won't say all, but what we see most of this type of disdain and I call it disdain and undermine of foundation of Black America is coming mostly from Nigerians. I don't say all Nigerians are like that. Some of them are riders, yes. But we have to address this problem. We have to address this issue. We have to call it out. A bunch of them, they're the ones that try to undermine foundation of Black Americans. Those ones are cutthroat. We from Africa, some of us, we are scared of them. We are scared of Nigerians. There's a saying in one part of where I come from is that because of the bad experience some a lot of people have had with some Nigerians. I mean, I've told that even in Africa, there's a saying that when you see a Nigerian coming from a distance and a snake, deal with the Nigerian first before you bother about the snake. Not all of them are bad, I still say it. But you see this persistence and undermining of foundation of Black Americans is coming mostly from the Nigerians. You come and you sit on the shoulders of their ancestors. You even sit on their shoulders. And then you try to undermine and talk bad about them. It was just easy for him to pick up Wikipedia or Google and figure out why Black History Month is existing. Let me take a little bit of time and read this piece. Black History Month is an annual observance originating in the United States of America, where it is also known as African American History. It has received official recognition from the governments in the United States. The government, official recognition from the government. Thank you, sister. I'm going to address Nollywood after this. From the government of the United States of America, Canada, and more recently, the Black History Month has been observed in Ireland, the Netherlands, United Kingdom. If it never meant anything, I've not meant anything for the black race globally, they will not be observing and recognizing the Black History Month in these countries. They are celebrating in not only United States of America. This little buffoon from Nigeria he's clapping his gums and talking about that you're going to abolish Black History Month. You see, because of the importance of Black History Month, it's being celebrated not only in United States of America, the governments. And it's through Black History Month that you see now the Afro-Mexicans. They have a voice. It's true Black History Month. You see Afro-Brazilians, they took their cue from Black History Month. Let me go further. It began as a way of remembering the important people and events in the history of the African diaspora. It is celebrated in February in the United States, Canada, while in Ireland and Netherlands and the United Kingdom, it is observed in October. Just the fact that there is a marker on Black History Month is very important for the Black race. Let me go further. The precursor to Black History Month was created in 1926 in the United States of America when the historian Carter G. Woodson and the Association for the Study of Negro Life and History announced the second week of February to be Negro History Week. This week was chosen because it coincided with the birthday of Abraham Lincoln on February 12th and of Frederick Douglass on February 20th, both of which dates Black communities had celebrated together since the late 19th century. They chose Abraham Lincoln because, well, they believe that he's the one that fought for the freedom of Black slaves. Frederick Douglass is the one that fought for the emancipation and recognition of the Black race in America. You know, that is why they chose that 2 months, that particular. You see the amount of work that our brothers have put in. And let me read something before I continue reading the history of it. If a race has no history, it has no worthwhile tradition, it becomes a negligible factor in the thought of the world, and it stands on danger of being exterminated. The American Indian left no continuous record. It did not appreciate the value of tradition. And where is it today? The Hebrew keenly appreciated the value of tradition as it's attested by the Bible itself. That's why they wrote theirs in the Bible. In spite of the worldwide persecution therefore, he is a great factor in our civilization. So going back, that is the purpose of having a history of your people. We can talk of our own history and talk about our own civilizations because of thanks to Black History Month. Where then did you see the level of academia being put on the Black civilization? Or our contribution into history as a race of people? This is the foundation. They would have written us off. And the effort continued through to the 70s. When you saw our ancestors, our forebearers who had left us, the likes of how to call him, Anta Sheikh Diop, the likes of this other guy who Dr. Ben, you know, the likes of Isa Alia, the likes of, now we have the likes of Dr. How to call this dude who is famous in going to Egypt all the time and doing work there. They took over that. That's when that is the foundation of us studying ourselves. The Black History Month. What's a diving to find out what happened to the history of African American. No, it didn't only end by the fact that they took them out as slaves. It continued. What did we do in the continent? That laid the foundation and the bedrock for us to even. They were only wiping us off history. Why do we have Egyptology? The purpose of Egyptology initially existed to make sure that they say that the civilizations in Egypt were never African civilization. They were never by the black-skinned people. They claim that they were giving all sorts of hypotheses, fake hypotheses, just to disregard us that we contribute something to the civilization of the world. But our ancestors, they fought tooth and nail. You know, the likes of Anta Sheikh Diop, the likes of this guy from Aruba, I've forgotten his doctor who died recently from Aruba. All them, they put it in the work of our contribution because they were going to write us off history. And when you write off history, they can easily exterminate you. When you take up a culture, take up everything from you, you don't have a value. This buffoon comes and says that History Month is not relevant or Black History Month is not good, you should take it off. Let the other people go and study. What is there in their own history? If they have the interest, he was claiming Norwegians, the Swedish. He wasn't even calling other race, calling the countries in Europe. Countries in Europe. Let me tell this buffoon. If they find their history too important, let them study it. But don't come and take away Black History Month. You want to attack the very core of our own people in this country. Who are you? A migrant. You come and sit on their backs because you want to run for governor. That's the first thing you come out with. You clap your gum and say that you want to take away Black History Month. Who are you? Family, I say this to the black family in Michigan. Give this guy no space. Get into every space that he has. Give him no breathing space. Choke him in the light of making sure you don't give him any space to stand in your midst to talk. If he has a business, boycott his business. Let him feel the pains of what it means to undermine a foundational Black American. We won't allow this controlled opposition. We won't allow these Trojan horses amongst the black families still struggling for their survival to get into the mix to continue to shit on them. Let him feel the pinch. If he has a business, undermine his business, boycott his business. I'll research whether this guy has a business. My next outing, I'll bring it and I'll put it. So I'll identify his business, boycott his business. Make sure that if he comes into any black community, they shoot him out, they shun him out, send him out of that place, shoot him with tomatoes, chase him out. He has no voice, no say. He has no space. We need foundational Black Americans. He has no space to talk about anything. If he's so interested in politics, let him go and practice politics in Nigeria. Let me just give a little piece of why we celebrate Black History Month. The thought process behind the week was never recorded, but scholars acknowledge two reasons for its birth: the recognition and importance. Woodson felt deeply that at least 1 week would allow for the general movement to become something annually celebrated. Also, after the 10 years long haul to successfully complete his journal of the Negro history, he realized that the subject deserved to resonate with a greater audience. From the event's initial phase, primary emphasis was placed on encouraging the coordinated teachings of the history of the Black Americans in the nation's public schools. So you are coming to tell them that they should not teach their own history, they shouldn't pay particular attention. When you have other subgroups taking care of that, you attack the very core of our people. You come and you add injury to their pain. You come and you inflict more cut on their wounds. To talk of that, that's the only thing you could find to stand as a political platform to run as a governor of Michigan. This guy is trying to run as a governor of Michigan. Family, we need to stay on code. This guy we have to inflict the highest punishment on him trying to shit on the black family. Chase him out any black neighborhood that he comes there to campaign. If he goes into any space, the B1 there, B1 brigadiers, make sure you dominate that space and make sure that you remind him, you are a migrant in this country. You have no voice, no say. If you're going to come into this country and shit on us, sorry, we'll make life uncomfortable for you. So they went further. The first Negro history was met with a lukewarm response, gaining the cooperation of the Departments of Education of the states of North Carolina, Delaware, and West Virginia, as well as the city school administrations of Baltimore and Washington. That's where it got its first street. Despite this far from universal observance, the event was regarded by Woodson as one of the most fortunate steps ever taken by the association, and plans for a repeat of the event on an annual basis continued apace. At the time of Negro History's week launch, Woodson contended that the teaching of Black history was essential. And he's not talking about just Black history in America, Black history. So this is a buffoon who doesn't want to know his own history. He doesn't know that the history of Africa even stemmed from here. This foundational Black Americans are the ones that even gave us the outlet to even learn about the history of Africa. And the foundation and the basis of that is the Black History Month, to study the history of the black people. Then you see this buffoon will come here and say that he wants to scrape it out. Who is he? Who is this guy? We have to start calling out these people. Give them no space. Let these things not go untouched. Let it not just flow by. We call them out. We make sure that if there are tools and what means to stop this buffoonery from where it started, just as the B1 brigadier stopped Kamala Harris, Michiganders should make sure that the black brigades in Michigan should stop this dude from standing anywhere to talk about anything black. And it doesn't end there. We boycott any form of business that he has. Make sure he pays a price. The problem is this element that we see that there has never been punitive measures for people who go off code to undermine the black people in America. There should be a punitive measure for them. By 1929, the Journal of the Negro History was able to note that with only 2 exceptions, officials with the State Department of the Education of every state with considerable Negro population had made the event known to that state's teachers and distributed official literature associated with the event. Implying that if none of that, there would never have been anything about, they would have whitewashed the history of the black man. They would say that they would have been claiming that they treated our brothers here nicely. Everything was good. You get it? Because it's truly black history, whether you learn the history, you go to the slave narratives, you read their own real story, what actually happened to them. It's because of Black History Month that they even have, they started gathering excerpts or stories about foundational black Americans, the slave narratives, all those things, and putting them there. It's due to Black History Month that initiative took place. You see a migrant from somewhere that he doesn't even know his own history. You ask this dude where his own tribe came from, you don't even know. He come and tell you he wants to scrape Black History Month. Who are you? Throughout the 1930s, Negro History Week countered the growing myth of the South's lost cause. The myth, as epitomized in both the novel and the movie Gone with the Wind. That myth argued that, and this is the history that was supposed to be. That's what would have been first start here today. That myth argued that slaves had been well treated, that the Civil War was just a war of northern aggression, and that blacks had been better off under slavery. Can you imagine? When you control a man's thinking, you do not have. That's the story that the Gone with the Wind was trying to push. The southern slave masters, they were pushing the story that slaves had been well treated, that the Civil War was a war of northern aggression, and that blacks had been better off under slavery. When you that's black, listen, that's blacks were better off under slavery. He goes further. Woodson says, when you control a man's action, a man's thinking, you do not have to worry about his actions. That's what Woodrow wrote in his book, The Miseducation of the Negro, the African Negro, the American Negro. You do not have to tell him how to stand here or go yonder. He will find his proper place and will stay in it. The Negro history will grow in popularity throughout the following decades, with mayors across the United States endorsing it as a holiday. Black History Month was first proposed by the black educators and the black United States students at Kent University in February 1969. It was just from weeks. Now they saw the importance to push it to month. The first celebration of the Black History Month took place at Kent State 1 year later, from January 2nd to February 28, 1960. 6 years later, Black History Month was being celebrated across the country in educational institutions, centers of black culture, and community centers, both great and small, when President Gerald Ford recognized Black History Month in 1976 during the celebration of the United States bicentennial. The president also recognized it. Everybody was not showing an importance of the Black History Month. He argued Americans to seize the opportunity to honor the two often neglected accomplishments of black Americans in every area of endeavor throughout the history. That's the president, President Woodrow Wilson, saying this. In the black community, Black History Month was met with enthusiastic response. It prompted the creation of Black History clubs, an increase in interest amongst teachers, and interest from the progressive whites. In February 21st, 2016, 106 years later, Washington, D.C. resident and school volunteer Virginia McLaurin visited the White House as part of the Black History Month. When asked by the president why was she there, McLaurin said, "A black president, a black wife. I'm here to celebrate Black history. That's what I'm here for." Even though that piece is a little bit twisted because he did nothing to the black family. But Obama doesn't, I will have to take it as a digression. He didn't identify like a black man in America because he never had the Black history experience. You see, Obama could do that because he didn't have the Black history experience. And these are the ones that are going to push ahead to undermine the foundation of Black Americans, to demean them. Those who don't have the Black experience, those who have, they'll come and they want to shit on our own people. And he's standing there and thinking that he wants to come a male. In the United Kingdom, Black History Month was first celebrated in October 1987. You get it? Which year was also coincidentally the 150th anniversary of the Caribbean emancipation, the centenary of the birth of Marcus Garvey, and the 25th century of the Organization of African Unity, an institution dedicated to advancing the progress of African states. Now you see the trail from Black History Month, how it has, built momentum, and how is impacting the entire Black community globally, even to the now they're celebrating in the UK based off of what happened in the United States of America. Okay, let me go further. Black History Month in the UK was organized throughout the leadership of the Ghanaian analyst Akiaba Adai-Sebo, who had served as a coordinator of special projects for the Greater London Council and created a collaboration to get it underway. It was first celebrated in London 1987 as part of African Jubilee Year, when in October 1st, Dr. Maulana from the United States was invited to an event at the County Hall to mark the contribution of the Black people throughout history. And Adai-Sebo grew up a plan to recognize the contribution of Africans, Asians, and Caribbean people in the economic, cultural, and political life in the United Kingdom, which with other boroughs beginning formally to institute October as a Black History Month in the United Kingdom. You will see our brothers, the riders here, they start off something that is significant for the race. They recognize it for the race. You even see it now spreading into the South America. And you see a pimp, a vermin from Nigeria come in, sit on the shoulders of our people, those who even fought to break colonization in Africa, have been the forebearers of our race. He comes and shit on them and try to dismantle or disrespect all this work that they have put in. That's picking up steam. The Republic of Ireland's Great Hunger Institute at Quinnipiac University in Connecticut notes, Black History Month Ireland was initiated in Cork, 2010. This location seems particularly appropriate as in the 19th century the city was a leading center for abolition, and the male and female anti-slavery societies welcomed a number of Black abolitionists to lecture there, including Charles Lennox, Raymond, and Frederick Douglass. It was just good, simple for this guy to pick up Google, pick up Wikipedia, and find out why Black History Month is being celebrated. Even the African history is a product of Black History Month in America. The breakthrough of the fact that we contributed something as in the civilization, in world civilization, because we were writing of our history, is a product of the Black History Month in America. All advancement from a psychological perspective that exists as us as a race of people, all of them, all the psychological boost that we're having now currently to be able to speak is a product of the Black History Month in America. You see a self-hating, low self-esteem, wanna be white, coon, tapping, how do you call it? These are the self-hating Negroes. Caping for the white society. The Sambos. You don't even have the audacity or the courtesy to even find out what happened to our people in this place. They don't have the courage and the audacity to find out their contributions to the black as a race of people globally. You don't even know their history. You step on something that has redefined and is redefining our race, because the races white supremacists were up to wipe us completely off history, to continue the demonization, the dehumanization of our own people. What has even given us that momentum and that hope to project ourselves as contributors of the current world civilization is the Black History Month. You want to come and say that's the first thing you're going to campaign against. We should make sure that this guy, he's so fortunate that I'm not in Michigan. I would have made sure that everywhere, wherever he stands to talk, I'll be in those areas, those spaces. I speak as a migrant. I speak as a brother in brotherhood to my brothers in the United States of America, the Foundation of Black Americans. I am in brotherhood with them. But I will speak as a migrant to go with this guy toe to toe, as also a migrant in this country who know no better, who's a coward, a leech. He is fortunate. If you are there, that in where I live, wherever he finds himself campaigning, I'll be there. And I'll remind him where he comes from, where he's standing on. He stands on the shoulders of our brothers and sisters in this country, their ancestors, their blood. I'll remind him that whatever he has accrued in this country is because of them. I'll remind him wherever you live, the neighborhood that you live in, they fought before you can even have the opportunity or the space to live in that neighborhood. I'll remind him whatever job you have done in this country, wherever you find yourself as in any profession, is because they fought for you. You don't have any guts or audacity to come and sit and undermine them and insult them. You are so ignorant about the history of this country. I don't think ignorant people should even step their feet into politics. That's an untouchable story. You talking about dismantling Black History Month is dismantling the history of black people globally. If you don't know that. The children that the Black History Month of America has born, has given birth to. Because it's through that movement that they could start agitate for within the United States of America to break the back of colonialism in Africa. We will still have been slaves. Maybe you love to be a slave. Go look for a master to tell him that, well, master, I want to be a slave to you. I want to be a slave. And you stay under under him as a slave. If you are so thirsty of being a politician, go to Nigeria and practice politics and tell that crap there in Nigeria. Come walk yourself into people's country. They're still catching hell. They're still suffering from what they're going through. They fight for all of us. When they killed Botan Jean, who was a migrant from the island, who were on the street, who were in the courts fighting, the Foundation of Black Americans, and you come into their country and shit on them. When they killed Amadou Diallo in New York, who were the ones fighting? Our brothers put it in the work. You come, you hide in your little small corners. How often do you people go out as migrants to participate in protest? How often do you go out to participate in protest that black people have been harmed? You think that I wish a nice little race soldier meets this guy, confronts this guy in a little corner. He will remind him of what it is, who he is. He will remind him to understand that he should go back to the history books and read it. I think I always say this. Those who will not come across this video, I'll remind him to read this book. I'll remind him to read this book. Not all skin folks in America have the same history and the same experience. Not all skin folk in America has the same experience. I'll be very clear about that. The experience of our foundation of the Americans is different from the experience of other black people in America. That's very important. It's extremely very important that they maintain the lane of calling themselves foundational black Americans. Have your flag, have your nation, have your identity. You are a special ethnic group. It's very important to make this clear distinction. You see people come and try to blur the lines, to shit on them and undermine them, to work on their, showing them completely out of history in America. It's not going to happen on the few of us who understand the migrants on our own watch. I'll promote the idea and the notion of you guys calling yourself foundational black Americans. I've seen Tarek Nachi putting up a flag. I stand behind that. I'm a migrant from Africa. And I'll support you people to stand behind that. If I go to Nigeria, they have their flag. I'm not from Nigeria. If I go to Ghana, they have their flag. I'm not from there. So when you come into this country, our brothers in this country, they have their flags. Don't hide behind. We'll have a Pan-African flag across all of us, but let every segment have their own small flag. We'll have to understand because we have a different experience. Don't you just walk in this country and say, oh, I'm black. No. We all have a different experience in America. You migrate from Africa or from the islands into America. They were never migrated. They were dragged as slaves in slave boats. Their ancestors were dragged as slaves. That's why we have Black History Month. For this history to be taught to this buffoon. For this history to be taught to this cow. Who says and think that Black History Month should not exist. I speak as a migrant. It's an insult to our brothers in this country. It's an insult to the black race. Because it's from the Black History Month that they gave the foundation for us to even study ourselves as black people. It's from Black History Month that has spread globally. The Mexicans, blacks in Mexico, have been recognized because they gathered the experience of the Black History Month. And you see other black movements spreading across the southern part of America, South American nations. It's from Black History Month that the history of Africa could be gotten straight. Family, those who are in Michigan, make sure that this guy has no space to project that he's nonsense. Make sure that you give him no space in social media, wherever he stands and talks. Remind him. Black History Month is not something to touch. Remind him. He doesn't have any credentials to stand and speak in this nation. Just vomiting what he has said. If great presidents can say that it's right, institutions can say that it's right, who is this buffoon to walk into America and try to spew crap? We should make sure wherever he goes, I'm saying that to our brothers in Michigan, wherever this guy goes, follow him along, follow him around, give him no space, chase him out of your neighborhoods. Wherever he comes to speak in any church, chase him out. Don't even give him the space to even speak in any black church. It's an insult to our ancestors. It's an insult to the entire black race globally. These people have to be called out. We can't just listen and talk about it. We have to call and make sure to take necessary actions. If you have a business, boycott his business. Even not only boycott, protest in front of his business. Make sure he knows where he comes from. Make sure he knows that there are subjects in the United States of America he cannot touch. Remind him. He cannot speak for the foundation of Black Americans. He cannot speak for them. He is a migrant. And they are descendants of slaves. Still catching hell here. You come and you sit on their back and you throw that field out. Remind him. He doesn't stand. Skin folk is not kin folk. By so altering that has just ostracized him out of the community. And he should be made with punitive measures. Wherever he goes. They call him Austin Chenge. That's how they call him. Austin Chenge. Remind him. We need to follow some of these things with action. The way the B1 shunned Kamala Harris, blacks in Michigan and the B1 brigadiers in Michigan should follow through with this guy. Give him no space to spew this rubbish. We should follow the code. We should operate under code. We should follow the code. We are not going to allow this to fester. Make sure that he has no space with the black community. And not only there, make sure that wherever he goes and speaks, there should be some B1 brigadiers reminding him that he cannot speak. Even he has no credential to even stand as a candidate in this country. Just saying that gives him no credentials, no credence to speak as a political figure. Those are the theaters that will sit and continue to see how they decimate the black community. He has nothing to contribute. Skin folk is not kin folk. Just that in his resume is enough for you to kick him out of the, not only out of the race, but out of Michigan even. I had to let this out. You know, they have bought over Nollywood and are using it as an entry, the Canal One. They are using it as an entry point to destroy our culture. We are seeing it. And I call upon the rightful thinking Nigerians to ensure that it doesn't happen. They're trying to spread in foreign cultures and they buy over those type of key elements in our continent. It's not for business. It's for the continuous destruction and assault that they intend to assault us from within the continent. And they're using the Nollywood in Nigeria to do that. We are watching it, or we'll call it out. These are the type of people that leave Nigeria and come to South America. You don't even have the courtesy or audacity to even study their history. You come on here. These are the ones that will come here and they will tell their children not to associate with foundational black Americans. When they catch hell, they'll run back to the foundational black Americans to say, hey, I'm being discriminated, I'm a racist. These are the type of people that will come to Nigeria and tell their children not to even associate with foundational black Americans. These are the people, maybe their parents, if he just, from his accent, I think he surely migrated from Africa into America. These are the type of people that have the disdain for foundational black Americans. We call them out. We make sure that he fails before he even starts. Don't give him the space. We'll call these things out and put it openly and attack it. This is a different breed of black people. We are not going to allow this to face in any community, any black community. We should operate under code. And this should be one of the code that we have to operate under. These tethers, these people, these Trojan horses must be addressed and must be dealt with. Give him no space in Michigan. Give him no space in Michigan. He thinks, he speaks for the, he just put on a clan robe and move around. Who open their garments. This type of black Negroes will open up their garments and show the family what they are made of. Will open up their garments and show them. Give him no breathing space in Michigan. Let him not even make, because he's a failure. But let's follow through. Make sure that even if he doesn't come into black communities, wherever he finds himself, even there should be about 3 or 4 brilliant brigadiers to remind him. You have no portfolio. You have no standing to talk about politics in America because you don't know anything about America. You don't know the history of America. You have no standing. You bear no position. You have no breath to speak about America. Talk less of standing as a political figure. You think you're going to use your dark skin to trick your way into the politics and turn and shit on our people? It's not going to happen. Follow through in Michigan. I'll figure out what he's doing. If he has a business, make sure you boycott him. People must start feeling the pain of attacking the race. They must start feeling the pains. If you cannot start cleaning house from within, we will not make any progress. We must devise tools and means to make sure that we punish those who go against the codes. Family, let's keep him. I'll follow through. I'll be following up with what he's doing as far as his campaign is concerned, and I'll be updating the house. I'll be updating the family about what he's up to. You don't come and sit on people's suffering. I live in a nice neighborhood because my brothers fought for it. That's why I'm just so humble to the Foundation of Black Americans. I see where they come from. I know whatever is happening to me here. I came in as a migrant in the state, in the United States of America, legally as a migrant. I came in legally as a migrant. I have the citizenship because they fought to make sure that programs were put in place for us to be able to come in here. I don't fight because of just seeing them as another segment of people I'm sympathizing with them. I fight because I'm one of them. My children who will grow into this community will face the same, will dance the same music, the same tune. He thinks he's different. He thinks he's the sweet Negro, the boy of the slave master. He thinks he can speak for himself. If he has children, they will dance the different music on the streets, in the institutions, and within the systems. We'll call them out. I'll follow him. I'll follow his campaign. I'll always update the house about his campaign, and I'll make sure I'll continue to ostracize this type of people. We'll call them out and make sure that we expose them and their stupidity and their buffoonery and put them in their place. Thank you, family. I had to let this out of my chest. Let's stay on code. Be one. Black first. Before you are straight or gay or lesbian or whatever, you are black first. When you confront a race soldier, or when you confront the institutions of racism, white supremacy, they don't distinguish you from any of those things. They see you like black. So speak like a black person first, before any of those other subtitles. In America, you may come from Africa, you're a migrant, whatever. You have to speak like a black person first because you're catching hell as a black person first. Don't think because you come from this mindset of thinking that, oh, I am not one of you. When for the irony that when some of us migrants start catching hell, oh, start crying, oh, racism. Now start going some of the structures of institutions that have been put in place by our own brothers in this country, to fight against the racism on black people. We start going to those same places. But when we come, we don't want a partnership with them to make sure that we stand strong as one people to maintain the momentum. We come on to tear it down. Then when we get hit, we come back crying to those same institutions and saying that, oh, racism, they are racist. And you see the same support from the same Foundation of Black Americans starting to fight for you. But you shit on them. Who confront those things? I speak like a black man in America. I speak like someone that identifies himself as a black first. The fact that I came here as a migrant, but I can see through the lenses. I can understand the pains of my brothers in this country because somehow I also feel their pains. I'm part of the boat. That's why I speak. Most of us identify ourselves as a race first, black first. Thank you, family. I'll keep on updating you guys on this particular guy. This is nonsense that is putting out. We will not tolerate this. We won't allow it. The code should be a driver. It doesn't end on just talking about him. We make sure that wherever he goes, we don't give him the space to talk. This guy should not step his foot in any black community. He should not step his foot in any black community to talk. Just saying that what he has said. That should be what the Michigan B1 Brigadier should be ensuring. He has no standing to talk as far as politics in America is concerned. If that's a position that you are taking. Worse still, to even talk in amongst black people. Let's stay sharp. Let's stay focused, family. We keep on making sure that the fight and the quest for reparations keep going. Calling out this type of buffoons, this type of Trojan horses, tools used by reason white supremacists. Keep on calling them out. I don't not only calling them out, ensuring that there's a punitive measure on them. Supporting systems and things that work. Take care of our own selves. Before I end this, I would like to say that Dr. Arikana, I think I just watched a panel. They have launched the African Diaspora Bank. What does it call it? I think it's African Diaspora Bank. Let me take a look at it and just remind the house about what they call it, so that we can put an eye on it. African Diaspora Financial Bank. She has, I mean, something like that is going on. Let's follow through and see. And that's a bank that is just for us and our own people. So we should follow through and see how the bank, how it develops, and make sure that we support our own thing. We build our own thing. We should be unapologetic about that. It's nothing bad in believing in our own people. It's nothing bad in trying to uplift yourself. Unless we get out of that mentality, things will not change. Structures and systems were put in place to ensure that blacks as a collective, wherever you find yourself in this globe, stay at the bottom. We have to break those systems to make sure that we take our rightful place and position. I keep on saying, Africa don't need handouts. We don't need aid. We don't need loans. We don't need them. And once those portals dries out, we can do better. How can we, a continent be so rich like Africa, be dependent on loans for the past 50 years, and their conditions have always gotten worse? And every colonizer coming through soft power or hard power has always used loan. I mean, the 20th century has always used loans and aid as a tool to walk into their countries. And they succeed in doing that. We must find a way to beat these systems. They succeed in doing that because they make sure that currencies are stronger than all African currencies. So you can take one of the currencies and come and buy a lot of currency and give you money to say they can help yourself. We have to break that particular myth. Why is it that their currencies are stronger than ours? And unless that do for our own selves, taking care of our own selves, taking opportunity, advantage of the African Intercontinental Free Trade Agreement, where we start intertrading amongst ourselves to strengthen our internal economic capacity. We have to curtail the importation of things that we can produce in Africa. Yes, we have to curtail the importation of things that we can produce in Africa. We don't have to import chicken. We don't have to import fish. We don't have to import rice in Africa. We have the most arid land globally, fertile land, natural. We can develop systems to cultivate those lands and produce in mass scale and be able to feed our other brothers across the continent. We don't need all this food importation. Those who are exporting those food to us, how do they feed themselves? They have schemes that are put in place. So we can put those same schemes in Africa and take care of ourselves. We are not a race just being lazy. We are parents of this world. We can't just sit by and allow people to keep on determining how we have to live and our lifestyle. We have to change. Yeah, we see the system, we see things working, but we have to look for a way to circumvent this thing and rise up like one people. That's why I speak a lot about this buffoon who came and was trying to undermine our brothers in this continent, not knowing that he's even undermining the entire race. And that's why you have to stand on. We were even trying to change the history of this country in books in the southern states, in Texas, that all black people came here were migrants. People had to fight. He said, don't lie. Don't put those things in the book and tell lies. And this dude comes here and repeats the same bullshit. Our brothers are a unique set of people in this country, foundational black Americans. Make sure that you stay unique. Any skin folk that wants to partnership with you, you take into the family. Those that want to keep them outside, keep them out. And that's how it's supposed to be. Stay on code. Those are internal codes that must be respected. If you come in and you think you're gonna shit on this the whole thing say, oh, we are all blacks. No, 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 no. Unless they have this clear distinction and understand that, yeah, we're all children from Africa, but we have different experiences. And you need to respect our experience. You need to understand our experience. You don't just come and shit on us. That decision should be made very clear. So even if they want to give reparation, the Foundation of Black Americans who identify, they will be the ones to take their reparations. Because this is the type of dude that, let's say we push this whole thing through to the finish line, you see them want to come and hang around and say, oh, we need reparations too. Go to the Brits who enslaved you, who colonized you, and ask for reparation from the British. They will be the ones who come and ask for these are the type of migrants who come and say, oh, what about us? We need reparations. Who walked in here for free, sat on the shoulders of our brothers, fed himself fat, and he still wants to ask, when you want to, you stand and say, oh, I need to go to the Brits and ask them. I had to let this out of my heart because it was so painful when I hear this type of stupidity being put out by someone who speaks like his nose has been stuffed and says he wants to go and campaign as a governor of Michigan. We'll make sure that this guy doesn't have a breathing space over there in Michigan. Thank you, family. Stay on code. I'll have to monitor these Trojan horses, these coons, these sambos, and make sure that we decimate them from the word go. We did that with Kamala Harris, who was trying to fool around the black family and trying to con them. And we can do it at the lower and micro level with this type of people. See you in my next video. Stay strong and stay focused as a race of people. Thank you, people. God bless.